Hi there, Phil Simborg. If you are watching these videos in order, you may recall that I did a video a few days ago on how to play double twos on the second roll, and I discussed that generally speaking, you made your 4-point with two of them, and with the second set of double twos, most of the time you either come down with two or you come up with two, depending on what your opponent's roll was. There are a few exceptions, and I went through that in detail. Well, someone asked if I would do the same thing for double threes, and the answer is no, because double threes, I can't give you simple rules of thumb. There are so many different ways to play double threes, depending on the opponent's first roll, that the best thing I can tell you is that you need to study and understand the logic and reasoning behind each play. Let's just take about this example that we're looking at right now, where the player started with a 6-3 and he came up and split, which is the way most people play an opening 6-3. When you roll a double three now, this is a money game or unlimited game, and this would also apply to normal match scores of 7-away, 7-away, and higher. The right play is not to hit, not to make points, it's to make your bar point. Extreme Gammon has already rolled this out, and you can see that it's been rolled out, and you simply make the bar point, and it's been rolled out, let's see here, what does it say? It was rolled out by Christopher Yep, helped on this one. Okay, so thank you, Christopher, for doing this. We can put our cursor over it, and he rolled this out 20,736 games using variance reduction, and I won't go into detail on what that means, except that it allows you to get a very accurate rollout in a shorter period of time. But again, the right play is to make the bar point. Well, the right play of making the bar point isn't necessarily always the right play. For example, if you're on gammon go and you really need to win a gammon, and it doesn't matter if you lose a gammon, for example, at a score where your opponent needs 1 point to win the match and you need 2, and it's Crawford, you would hit here and make your 5-point, because you would win more gammons that way. And it's worth it. You win 3% more gammons that way, even though you don't win quite as much, it's worth the risk, because those gammons are very valuable to you. A gammon is worth 1.0. If you're on gammon save and you really wanted to not get gammon at all, you wouldn't hit it all. What's more important is you're making an advanced anchor to make the 21-point, and you don't want to leave shots. So you would make your own 3-point and your opponent's 21-point if you're on gammon save. And then the fourth kind of score would be double match point, where all you care about is what play wins the most games, without being concerned about gammons at all. And here you would make, again, the 7-point. But these plays change. The amount by which they change is quite a bit. Again, the double threes is going to be all over the place depending on your opponent's opening roll. Now, you could set up each of these positions and try to memorize each one, but again, I recommend learning why, the logic behind each one, each play. There is a shorter method. Again, I'm not trying to sell products here, but I did come up with a program with a lot of help and a lot of the technical work done by one of my partners, Murata Khan, out of Turkey. Along with Perry Gardner and I, we came up with a program called Opening Ceremony. In an opening ceremony, you're allowed to download an Excel spreadsheet, and you could also use it within the ceremony, that tells you how to play every second roll play at all 4 of these kinds of scores in response to every single possible opening move. Let's just go to the double three response, and the doubles are towards the end here. So let's find double threes. I've got to find it. There it is. So here you have double threes responding. For example, if your opponent has a 2-1 slot, here's how you would play double threes at double match point. Here's how you'd play it at gammon go. Here's how you play it at gammon save. And here's how you'd play it at a normal match score. Well, you can see there's some differences in the plays. And with every other possible opening roll that your opponent could have and every play you could make, you can see that the different ways you can play these double threes is all over the board. There's some general things you're going to do when you're on gammon save. Almost always, as you can see, you're making your opponent's 21-point, except when you can actually hit them. For example, if he splits with a 3-2 and you can point on him, then you would make 2 interboard points. But for the most part, on gammon save, you're making the 24-point. On gammon go, you're making your 5-point when you can, most of the time. double match point and normal match scores. It depends on what the opening rolls are and what you can do with the double threes. Now, the nice thing about the opening ceremony, www.bgopeningsceremony.com, is they've already been rolled out a minimum of 5,000 times with very high settings, so you can rely that these are the proper answers that you would get if you were using Extreme Gammon, and you can see them and compare them side by side. How do you play a double three DMP after a 6-4 split? Do you play it any different after a 5-2 down? Well, yeah, very differently. So again, I can't give you a single way to play double threes in the second roll. I can't give you a single rule of thumb, even if you're talking about only normal match scores, because as you can see, just going down that list, that's the column in red, they change depending on your opponent's opening roll. What I can recommend that you do, though, is you look at each one and you ask yourself, at this score, why is it important to make my 5-point? Why is it important to hit them? Why is it important to make my opponent's 21-point and make an advanced anchor? And you can find the logic and the reasoning behind them, and then you can learn the plays. Memorizing every single one of these 4 times all the 27 possible opening rolls, you go nuts trying to do that. But all you have to do is learn the logic. It's like that theory about teaching a man how to fish instead of just giving him a fish. Learn the logic behind the plays. But again, to those who have asked me, could you please do the same thing you did for double two for double three? The answer is no. Double two, there really are far fewer ways to play it. Some simple rules of thumb that lead you to the right answer, but you still need to know the logic behind those as well. Double four is another easier one. Double one's an easier one. Those are pretty much intuitive and not counterintuitive at all. Some of these plays you're going to find counterintuitive. You're going to find that they don't seem to make complete sense to you until you play a game out and you see that you really do win the game more often this way, or you really do save gammons more often that way. But again, I'm very proud of this program. Murat did the lion's share of the work on this. It's $25. It is supported and endorsed by the USBGF, and we make donations to the USBGF in return and in thanks for the support. So thank you for watching, and again, keep watching the videos, keep supporting the USBGF, and I will keep trying to make more interesting videos for you all the time. Bye-bye.